looking at the TV and I was like, I did not realize Kendrick was this thick. Oh my God. The thighs on that man.
Most midgets are thick. I would like to bring to y'all the attention of a great black man by the name of Kevin Samuels.
Nope, so, you don't know. I take everything back. I take everything back.
No, I did the research.
Absolutely not. That's not. You didn't do research. You're a horrible black as well.
I had a bureaucrat who's funneling money back to their accounts or to their, to the Cayman Islands or anything. You know what they talk about?
What?
PPP loans. They talking about Jew niggas and your PPP loans.
But like, there's I don't know. I was disappointed. I'm such a huge Kendrick fan. I enjoyed the performance. I enjoyed the entire thing, but I was just like, why did he do that set list? We are looking at Pinky Doll like, haha, look at that. That's a freak. We were looking at Cardi B laughing with her, not at her.
Okay, that's a better example.
The difference is we're laughing at Pinky Doll and we were laughing with Cardi B. We could see ourselves hanging out with Cardi B. Don't nobody want to hang out with Pinky Doll?
That's hate.
Don't nobody want to hang out with that weird ass. Like, she's weird as f.
The revolution will not be televised. This is my biggest problem with Kendrick Lamar. You are not a revolutionary, and nothing that you do.
Less whites in hip hop. Less whites. Even if you have white. I don't even want it no more. Honestly, I'm sorry. Y'all ruined it. The interracials ruined it for the rest of the interracials. Because y'all doing a little bit too much.
Your whole life is revolved around talking about other people's lives.
What the fuck do you think your podcast is doing on that podcast now?
This podcast is sponsored by Graffiti Tax Services. For all your tax preparation needs, you can go to graffititax.com. We're going to put the link right here. It should be somewhere. And yeah, you can head to them for during tax season. And if you have any financial or tax preparation questions, head to Graffiti Tax Services. They're our new sponsor. Thank you to Graffiti Tax Preparation Services. That's it.
All right, so it's official. I think we're bad black people.
Yeah, we're the worst blacks.
Has to be top tier. Because we did our first episode of the month, and in no way, shape, or form did we acknowledge that it was Black History Month.
Not even a little bit.
I think that.
And then that was our first white tea episode, so we decided to forsake the blacks on Black History Month.
We're starting the year off kind of rough. Man.
Yeah, it's not a good.
It's not rough, man. This is crazy.
It's not a good look for us.
But I think to kind of try to remedy the situation, we did discuss that we were going to bring up like black people that we thought maybe should be highlighted during this time frame. So
I wanted to do like a drunk history-esque,
little breakdown
with Black history, but I dropped the ball.
But
I doubled down on being a terrible black.
So you're like double super black.
Yeah.
Like bad black squared.
Yeah.
See, unlike you, I
don't like that laugh.
I did my due diligence.
I don't like that in one bit.
Well, whose fault is that? You should have did your due diligence like I did. So, So I would like to bring to y'all the attention of a great black man by the name of Kevin Samuels.
Nope, so, you don't know. I take everything back. I take everything back.
No, I did the research.
Absolutely not. That's not. You didn't do research. You're a horrible black as well.
I did do the research.
A horrible. You might even be a worse black than me.
No way.
Because under the guise that you would be teaching these people about Black history, you fix your stupid mouth.
I don't agree with that.
To say Kevin Samuels?
Yeah, 100%. I think
that's even worse. I think that's worse.
I think Kevin Samuel has been.
I think the audience would agree that that's worse.
Who was a shining example to the black community.
Wow.
And he only spoke to bring us better in regards to understanding our situations and, bringing down our expectations a little bit.
He's looking up at you, shaking his head right now.
No, he's not. He's looking down, and he's like, my guy. So, again, Kevin Samuels. I believe he was born in, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 1969. He is, he did pass away in May 2022. He is left behind. He's left behind. He's left behind by one daughter. He was an internet sensation who, shook the internet by storm, man. He came with his blunt critiques.
He was calling fat women fat. Ooh, revolutionary.
And he dared to be a black man with a standard. And
he told women with multiple children that they were undesirable. Oh my God, they never heard that.
That's not what he said.
Oh my God.
That's not what he said. He's saying,
what new shining example?
See, this is what I'm talking about here, where you're being disingenuous in regards to what occurred with this man.
That's what he was doing.
No, it wasn't.
He was on live telling bitches that they should aim lower.
No, because they were shooting at the top tier of men.
But that's what I'm saying. He was on live telling women that they should aim lower. That's the gist of his whole shit.
Yeah, when you tell him, hey, I got all this going on for me, and I expect the top tier man, maybe somebody should tell you, hey, you probably should bring that down a little bit.
I think the women were stupid for calling into Kevin Samuels.
No, they needed a dose of reality, and that brother gave it to him. Shout out to that brother.
Why would you call a man for advice? You already. What are you talking about? That's always been a thing. The wrong way.
They've gone on. There's been plenty of talk shows where they went to men for advice.
If it's not your daddy, then there's no man that you should go to. That's asinine.
That's asinine. So again, the late Kevin Samuels, want to thank you for your contributions to the culture, and your creation of your blueprint.
Dead as hell.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man. We're just gonna play the music, dog.
Yeah. Play that music.
You're just disrespectful, and that's just one of the things that he did talk about, where it's like y'all just don't respect nobody.
And you married me.
Yeah, because I'm trying to work those kinks.
Okay.
I'm trying to work those kinks out.
Plus, Kevin Samuels, Loki would have loved me.
Yeah.
On paper,
100%. That's why I don't understand why you have such animosity to this man.
Because just because a man prefers me doesn't mean that I'm like, oh yeah. Like, no.
He's rewarding you for your actions.
Try not to curse early, but
he's rewarding you for
hell out of here.
He's incentivizing you for the behaviors that you show.
I get fat just to spite you. Literally.
Kevin Samuels? What is that going to do but hurt you?
No, but not Kevin Samuels specifically.
Despite me?
Like
that's sick. Despite me is crazy.
I will gain 75 pounds.
You still going to be smaller than the women he was talking about if you do that.
I cannot wait for this next album to drop. I told my husband we're going to this concert, period, point blank. I have a story to tell you.
All right. Should I introduce the show first, or you want to get
Oh, you go ahead.
All right, you're now listening to Talk FNF TV. I'm your host, Absurd Rhetoric, and I'm with my lovely and amazing and gorgeous co-host, Miss Reality.
Hi, guys.
We're still workshopping that name, but right now we're just going with what
I thought Ferocious might have been the one, but he was like, oh, we want your name to be like a juxtaposition to your personality. And I'm a little bit loud and aggressive. So he wants my name to be a little daintier, but I think Ferocious, shout out to Malik, fits.
We'll see what the people say. So in the comments, just let us know if you like that. If so, we'll change it.
Let me know if you like Ferocious, because my name is Farah, and Ferocious works. And I don't want to just go by Farah, because I do love my name, and I would just go by Farah. I really would. But okay, so today I'm walking from picking up my coffee run. Mm-hmm. And then this old ass man stops me. He's like, what? Huh? Hello. Literally, this is how he sounds like. He's like, oh, what's your name? And I was like, Farah. And the only reason I stopped is because he was about to die. So, because, I usually pay men dust, but he was about to be dust. So I stopped and I talked to this man, and he's like, oh, you look like somebody I know. Like somebody that I work with in the like athletic department or whatever. And he's like, oh, I'm a basketball coach. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm a basketball coach for the NBA. And you look like somebody that I work with. You're so pretty. And I was like, okay, like, sure. Thank you so much, old ass man.
Hold on, which one of these niggas from the Hawks and try to talk to my wife, dog?
So I was like, thank you so much. And then he's like, oh, like, are you the person that I be seeing around in the building? And I'm like, no, I am not this person. I do not work there. I work here. I'm at work. Currently, I'm just grabbing my coffee and going back. And he's like, oh, okay, well, let me get your number. And I was like, no. I was like, oh, if you want to come buy something for your, because he was like, oh, the last time I've been there was when I bought something for my blah, blah, blah. And this time I was like, oh, if you want to come buy something, come see me. My name is Farrah. And then he was like, oh, let me take my number. And I was like, nah, you good. You know where I'm at. And I walked away. And I was like, if I was single, I'd have bled that man dry.
Hey, I'm pulling up.
I'd have had him add me onto the will.
Nah, real shit. I'm pulling up to the Hawks, yo. No lie, yo. Is that what he played for, the Hawks? That's what he said.
I didn't ask
coach.
him what team he played for because after I walked away, I was like, damn, I should not play. I was like, damn, I should have asked him what team he coached for because
he said it was the league. He said it was the NBA.
Yeah.
He just I'm a coach in the NBA.
That's all he said, and he had a full Adidas tracksuit on. That's all. And I was like, this nigga just lied. You don't think that I look like anybody you know. You use that as an excuse to walk up to me, and then you think I'm young and stupid, so you think you could just tell me you're an NBA coach.
Yeah, because Adidas, I think the NBA is with Nike. So that don't even
know.
Track right there. He tried to play you.
It don't matter. I was like,
he probably like a friend of a coach.
I was like, come spend some money or get the fuck out of my face.
Nigga probably just a rebounder.
What are you talking about?
That's probably what it was. He just a rebounder for niggas.
When I tell you this is exactly what he sounded like.
Yeah,
it took me all of my patience to finish listening to his sentences.
That nigga's a rebounder, bro. That's how the rebounders talk. All that muscling down there in the paint trying to get to there. Nah, nigga, hey, watch yourself. Dog, don't let me see you. Because your little old ass going to get pushed. I don't like that.
Yeah, get boxed up. Speaking of people who got absolutely destroyed, the Super Bowl was recently.
That was horrible. I'm going to say this because I know we're not really a sports show and she doesn't really care about the actual play that went on. I believe that man got a concussion like in the first quarter. Patrick Mahomes. If you watch that game, his head slapped down on that field like early on in one of those like first two drives they had. So I think that's what messed him up during the rest of the game and then led to that blowout. So
I saw people saying that like statistically when you fuck him up earlier, then he usually doesn't do well in the game.
I mean, it rarely happens, but in this situation, when you're able to get to him and you're only using 4 guys instead of actually sending like 5 or 6, and then now there's open people in the field, it gets real tough for him. So he has to learn to adjust to that because again, that's the main thing. But generally, their line is enough to stop that. So.
Speaking of the Super Bowl, let's stay on that and the people who were playing. I did not know the Eagles had so many valid face cards on them. Like the men.
Yo, relax, young. What did you do?
I'm sorry. I said valid face cards. I kept it as respectable as I could possibly keep it.
Young, that's not respectable
I'm talking about
in any capacity.
face cards. Like they got a bunch of like, what is going on over there? Like. There's usually like 1 or 2 like okay looking guys on a football team. They got a team full of like.
That's why I'm glad they like white women over there. Sports Illustrated models.
They do they?
Most of them like the white women. I'm putting that.
All of the ones I saw are already with black women.
Them was red black women too, weren't they? They was light skinned black women.
They always are.
Okay, then so let's make sure let's put these men in their proper place. That's not a win is a win. Let's put these men in their proper place.
A win is a win.
They're over here promoting colorism.
The girls on TikTok were going absolutely insane. Them little lives they were posting and them little videos they were posting from the locker room after they won. We was like, excuse me, slow that down a little bit.
See, that's what I'm talking about. This is why y'all ruin all the fun because then y'all got to start talking about the rich fucking athletes and how attractive they are. Yeah, that's what they need.
And how we didn't expect their jawlines to look like that under the helmets.
Oh my goodness, they're rich, play football, and they have great jawlines. Look at that. See, that's why you can't. You know what I'm saying? These niggas don't deserve it all. Like that's the shit. That's the crazy part.
It's not fair.
You know what I'm saying? Fair. They don't deserve that kind of treatment. You know what I mean? It used to be a time when like the athletes was big, ugly brutes.
That's what I was expecting under all them helmets. I was expecting gorillas under them helmets.
And then you can just have a guy to just have some money. But now that we done got to where we are, man, it's unfair. It's unfair, man.
Them shits is all right.
Nah, don't be using my shit. Don't be using my shit.
Yeah, I like turning that back around on you. I enjoyed that very much.
That didn't feel good at all.
So satisfied with myself right now.
That didn't get all.
He says that about titties most of the time. By the way, if y'all don't get that, he says that all the time about titties.
Nah, I didn't like that. That hurt my heart.
I'm saying that about biceps.
See, look at here. All right, see, that's something I have to go to Philly and just end it up there. Like
you about to just.
I'm gonna do what the nigga did from Kansas City back in the day when he went up there and crashed out at the practice facility. Y'all can Google that if y'all want. All right, so the biggest thing we need to talk about, because it was the only thing actually of substance that happened, because that game was trash. The Super Bowl performance. Mm-hmm. Kendrick Lamar.
Let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Period.
Thought you had better energy than that.
No.
So Kendrick Lamar.
What do you mean?
Well, you had stopped me like you were about to say something. So.
Oh yeah, no.
So Kendrick Lamar performed the set list. So the set list that was released was the performance that he had, which made sense. We talked about it. It
made sense when we talked about this prior to the performance. I wanted him to just change it because the set list that came out, I wasn't super excited about it. It was a lot of GNX content. I was very confused as to why he was doing so much GNX content.
I don't understand that sentiment. Can you explain to me why you would think that somebody who has just announced the tour for an album he just dropped,
I don't think it
would
matters.
Not perform those songs at the
I think you're factoring the tour too much into it.
I'm just thinking of it like a business.
Yeah, but the Super Bowl is somewhere where you showcase your career and why you've been chosen to perform at the Super Bowl specifically. So choosing to perform like 70 to 80% one very new project is unlike what we've seen at the Super Bowl in general.
Also, because those people generally aren't bringing out new albums that they're doing tours on. Yeah, Usher brought an album out when he did the Super Bowl last year, but he was not touring on that album. The people who came before him, they were
Usher
not touring on those albums.
And did new music, I think I would have been even more upset.
When The Weeknd went up there, he did the new album he had just dropped.
I wasn't even checking for The Weeknd.
I'm just saying, really, like this isn't out the realm. Granted, The Weeknd's thing kind of stopped.
And then Beyonce did that with her performance too. She did perform some new tracks. So I still don't think that he should have performed so many GNX songs. I don't care if it was like a strategic business thing. There are a couple. So the set list he did was GNX, Squabble Up, Humble, DNA, Euphoria, Man at the Garden, Peekaboo, Luther, All the Stars, Not Like Us, and then TV Off. So GNX, Squabble Up, Man at the Garden, Peekaboo, Luther, and TV Off are all from GNX. That's more than 50% of his set list was from an album that he just dropped. Given Squabble Up, not Squabble Up, but Luther and TV Off are both like charting, and Peekaboo is on its way up. Eventually, I think they will be like his like bigger hit songs, but I don't know. I think there are so many other songs that Kendrick could have did that are like Super Bowl worthy that he has in his catalog.
So this is going to go into my later point that we're going to have in regards to the conversation about Kendrick, but Kendrick is a traditional act. And traditional act go through the traditional means of how you sell a product. And for y'all to even conceptualize that he would not do that, which is generally the traditional way of doing, like I said, you have a new album, you're touring on an album, you promote that album on the biggest stage that you're on. Like that's just business 101 in any kind of sector of music industry. So that's what I'm saying. This is going to go to a later point I'm going to have, so I won't harp on it right now. So let's just give an overall grade of the performance of what you would give it.
I think I'd give it like a 7.5.
Okay, so we're doing it out of 10. We're not doing letter grades.
Oh, well.
I said a grade. I didn't say rating.
If it's a grade, then maybe like a B minus, C plus. Okay. B minus, I'll give it.
B minus, okay. So I was definitely C minus area for me. It was very below average.
You don't enjoy Kendrick
but
in general.
I was going off the actual performance itself. Like it was him, what he was doing, his breath control and all that stuff, but also what the performance was doing. Not also just what it was saying, but how big of a production it was. Because we just seen Beyonce's performance not too long ago at Christmas. So now there's a barometer from what I'm seeing, because if she did it that big, I only expect you to have an even bigger performance than she did. And one of the things I think he didn't do a good job of is utilizing the whole field. Like, he made the production feel really, really small.
I think that was intentional.
I think that's problematic, because when you're here, that's the point.
I think that was intentional because of the camera work. The camera work was exceptional. And it was very captivating. So I don't think that would have been as easy if things were as spread apart as they were, like, as you wanted them to be.
I think
things needed to be a little bit tighter.
I think he tried to do similar to the pop-up show and how those camera angles and really worked. But
it was the same person.
I don't feel like Dave Free. But I don't feel like this is in any way, shape, or form a place that you want to redo any kind of elements of that. This is, like you said, it is the Super Bowl. So Bomani Jones said this. Mark Lamont Hill said this. They talked about this being a bigger production when it comes to Super Bowl and having a bigger moment. Like, this is the moment when you're a superstar. This is the moment where you kind of show what you are here to give the world. Mm-hmm. And even if it is your new art, it can still be performed in such a way that I feel like here it felt very lackluster, very, very low production, very low creativity in my mind, because again, there's so much field that you could be using, so much of a story that you could tell that I feel like was half-heartedly told with what he did here, even with the Uncle Sam, everybody wearing the red, white, and blue, those, different symbolisms that they have in America and then also in LA. Again, all that stuff is cool, and I appreciate
the light pole and all that. Mm-hmm. I think I do like the visuals. I like the production. I don't think it was lackluster. I think it was visually captivating. I think there are some parts that the energy dipped off a little bit. I don't know why they were doing so much just like marching in place and like just moving their arms. I didn't like those parts. I felt like it was a little bit lazy and it was just like space fillers. So I do agree with you on a little bit, but I don't think the whole thing was lackluster. I think there were parts that like stood out a lot. I think there were songs that I was super hype about, and you saw me, like there were parts that I was like very excited about, songs that came up that he performed that I was super excited about. But there are other songs that I feel like are Super Bowl worthy that he could have done that he didn't do before, because he did do the Dr. Dre.
Yeah, he couldn't do All Right. He
couldn't do All Right, and he couldn't do Mad City, because he did both of those songs already. But those are only 2 songs. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the main song that I feel like he should have did, especially with this whole like Uncle Sam stuff that he was doing specifically for the Super Bowl, why didn't he do King Kunta? Black man taking no losses. Oh yeah. Bitch, where you when I was walking. Like, why did he not do King Kunta?
I can think okay, that's going to go into another reason. I'll explain
that. That's one of the biggest, like, and then Money Trees is like a very noticeable commercial hit. Why didn't he do Money Trees? Backseat Freestyle, I think, is like very high energy, very like rappy rap. Like, he could have ate that. And then also Swimming Pools, I think, would have visually and sonically been very interesting at the Super Bowl for him to perform. So I think like he could have taken maybe 2 GNX songs out and replaced them with like a King Kunta or a Money Trees or something from like older projects. Maybe I don't think he should do Section 80, but like there's I don't know. I was disappointed. I'm such a huge Kendrick fan. I enjoyed the performance. I enjoyed the entire thing, but I was just like, fuck, why did he do that set list?
It's because
I was disappointed that he did that set list, and I like GNX.
It's a money grab rollout, but I think from a technical standpoint, I think another part that took away from the performance was the audio was horrible. It was trash.
They fixed it after.
I mean, they always do that. They always changed it, but at some point we have to get to a point where we have to realize, like, if we're going to be having these performances, we need to have the technology be up to date. Because right now, what we're using is the cameras that they use for the field. You know what I'm saying? So those fields aren't, made to pick up that kind of sound. So then it takes away from the at-home performance. But if you listen to some people who were there, they were saying that the crowd was not as into it as they would like you to believe, especially now if you listen back to that, you know, playback and how they added crowd noise and things of that nature.
I don't know, because Duke posted a video and you could literally hear everyone screaming A minor. And then there was a beauty influencer I follow, Monet McMichaels, that was also there, and she posted a video and you can hear it was the same amount. So I don't know. I feel like we can't get into stuff like that, especially the stuff that we see on our separate timelines.
I mean, because Casanat said the complete opposite. He said that there was a lot of silence. There was a lot of areas.
Yeah, that's what you're referring to. That's what I saw too. Because Drake liked it, which I'll get into after. But I didn't want to get into that specifically because right after the Super Bowl, both of us went on our Twitters, and my Twitter was overwhelmingly like, oh, he killed that. And yours was like, oh, that was garbage, because you don't like him and I like him. So if we're going off of what we were seeing on the internet, you're going to be seeing things that affirm your bias of not liking Kendrick, and I'm going to be seeing things that affirm my bias of liking Kendrick. So that's not really like a thing. I do want to get into Drake. I like the visual of Drake sitting there on his phone typing in Kendrick Super Bowl 2025 and scrolling and trying to see like the negative things that people are saying and liking those things. Like, well, you so mad.
Well, let's before we get there, there's a few more questions we have to ask here. So again, like I said earlier with the Bramani Jones and like a lot other people's commentary on it, do you feel like Kendrick Lamar has shown that he was a big enough star for that moment? Because again,
no, I don't. Okay. Let's get into that. I think the Not Like Us like momentum propelled him into that position a little bit earlier than he should have gotten it. I feel like Not Like Us put him into a like pop culture space that he wasn't in before, because only like hip hop fans I'll say only hip hop fans really liked Kendrick before this. Now people outside of hip hop absolutely love him. People in like Congress are bringing him up in Senate and stuff like that. So after this, and he dropped GNX and then one more project of like undeniable, like solidifying that like this is where I'm at now, I feel like he should have gotten it in maybe like 2027, 2028.
So
I think right now would have been a little bit too early.
So I think there's different people in this world. There's people who, you know, they rise to the occasion. There's people who, you know, for the whole game, they look like they're trash, but when it really gets important, clutch time, you know, they rise to those occasions and make those big baskets. There's guys who are good the whole time. I think there are people who are stars, who are meant to shine, who at any moment can be charismatic and can control the room. I think there's some people who are just dragon slayers. I think everybody isn't David in the David Goliath story. I think some people are just folks who take down the dragon. People who take down are mercenaries. And I think that's what Kendrick Lamar is. And I think what we saw on Sunday was somebody who moment wasn't really big. Somebody who's not really the artist that can fulfill that kind of moment. And I think that's kind of the real thing, where the hits just aren't there. The connection with the people aren't there. Even though
Kendrick Lamar had already won like 22 Grammys before
cool.
Not
That's
Like
cool.
Us.
We're not. I'm not talking about that industry shit. And again, I'll discuss that later on. I'm not talking about the industry shit. I'm talking about the connection with the people. When you put the mic in the air, they can just say your words off the top of their heads. That's what I'm talking about.
When you say the people, because he already had a connection with the black people. I'm saying that this made him had a connection with the people outside of black people.
I disagree. I think they saw that and they were turned off of what they saw. That is not the kind of art that.
No, I'm not talking about the Super Bowl. I'm talking about Not Like Us.
That's what I'm saying.
He got into the world of like the people who didn't know him and now they know him and now they like him. There are mad people who didn't listen to Kendrick who listen to Kendrick now.
Yeah, they listen to Not Like Us. People here are listening to this right here and they saw him.
You know how many white people I saw dancing on TikTok to GNX?
Of course, people are going to do that. They're paying people to do all that. That's not out of the realm of possibility to see. What I'm discussing here, again, is him as an artist and what he can bring. And he has limitations. And he is not a global star that is going to dominate and bring people to their feet and enjoy a time. What they were doing, let me finish. Yeah, it's definitely, it's never going to be like that. That's the part of it, that they put him in a position where he's only a dragon slayer. You are not the king to reign over this hip hop world. And I think it's going to show. I think it's going to be detrimental
hip-hop,
to
yes.
hip-hop.
Pop, no.
It's going to be detrimental to hip-hop. Hip-hop is moving into a pop element where it is one of the biggest genres in the world. And I don't think if you're going to make him your number one guy, he's not going to be able to hold the crown.
I think it was. I don't think hip-hop is doing that anymore because it's been dropping like numbers-wise for a little minute now.
But all music has.
Everyone has been saying that.
But that's all music. That's not just hip-hop. All music's been dropping.
I don't know. I don't like when we start doing the like tinfoil hat conspiracy.
I didn't do anything tinfoil. I'm talking about him as an artist.
If you let me finish, I don't like when you start doing the tinfoil hat conspiracy. These random white people in Middle America are being paid. You said they're being paid.
Oh yeah, people are being paid to do that.
They're being paid to like Becky in Nebraska is being paid to dance to Not Like Us in her living room while her daughter who's home from college is recording her and it gets 250,000 views. Like, come on now, that's Becky. Not what's happening.
It's not Becky, but there's somebody that maybe she's watching that scene that is popular who was paid by them to do that. And now she's just copying what she's seeing is getting traction. That's how these things work. They put money into the song. Like, you can't act like they didn't put money into the song.
Of course, that's what they do.
But I'm saying,
they didn't put money into random people dancing to his NFL performance on TikTok the night of. Like, I don't like the.
Okay.
You just sound so ridiculous
like I said,
to me when you do stuff like that.
I think, like I said, it's very forced what they're trying to do with him. I think again, he's a good artist. I think he has his role, his element. I don't think he can be the number one guy, and it showed that night. But
I would love if hip hop got to the place where Kendrick could be the number one guy, because when this Kendrick thing started, I've had this sentiment for the whole time that Drake is Target and Kendrick is like a more niche fashion house. That's how I've been saying. That's how I've been comparing them the whole time. Of course, somebody like Drake would be a better fit for this because he has a formulaic, basic pattern of making music. Like it's literally accessible to everyone. It's Target, it's Walmart.
To use your example, when niche clothing lines or niche businesses like that get an influx of money and then they try to push that to the masses, they generally will fail because there's only a small market.
You're not even trying to talk about fashion right now. They don't fail.
Yes, they are. If you're talking about niche markets, yes,
let's talk about Schiaparelli specific.
I'm not talking about just. I'm talking about general business. If you get into a niche market and you try to expand that niche market, if you don't reach out to the people who are going to give commerce to that, who are going to be like, hey, I want this, I want to consume this, then it fails. And you see that all the time with a whole bunch of niche markets that'll come out. Oh, what's this? And then 2 years from now, you don't even see that company anymore. That happens all the time.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen with Kendrick. I think he has, like I said before, the man had like 20-something Grammys before this happened with Drake in the first place.
But see,
he has already solidified his position in hip hop and as an artist and in our culture. And
the part here, this is why I'm saying just exactly what you said, and we can go over a little bit more detail. Exactly what you said proves my bigger point is the fact that you base that on his own success. Drake's success was not just his own success, but the fact that he was creating and building other artists. And we have failed to see that from Kendrick Lamar at the rate that we saw that with Drake. So
who other than The Weeknd?
Other than The Weeknd, we talking about Migos. Talk about a whole bunch of other people he got on.
Drake?
No, he got on that song and that made them a national.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Because we could talk about the entire fucking black hippie TDE. Like,
yeah, and those
let's
guys,
move on.
And those guys are selling
let's
11K first week.
Because
and those guys are selling 11 and 17K first week.
Literally a
and
thing.
those guys are selling trash the first week.
SZA.
All right, no, let's get into
SZA.
No, we're not worried about SZA right now.
SZA.
I'm not worried about SZA right now.
Schoolboy Q. Like, come on now.
Again, SZA was TDE more than it was Kendrick Lamar. So, but we don't have to get into all that. So there was a part that he started off at the beginning of his performance in which he said the revolution will not be televised. This is my biggest problem with Kendrick Lamar. You are not a revolutionary, and nothing that you do, like you're like the fakest revolutionary that could ever be. And for fact, and I'm gonna say this because again, just like we saw with the Grammys, we had Lucian Grange high-fiving Dr. Dre after he won his award. My man, there is nothing about you, nothing that you can even fathom about him that is revolutionary, even to the point where we can get into his politics and what he has shown over the year. He has never stood on an opinion that was revolutionary.
I don't think he's ever stood on an opinion point blank. And every time you bring out this point, I say the same thing. Kendrick does not speak.
See,
the man don't say shit. You can't base an opinion off of like what he does and what he says when he don't do shit and he don't say shit.
I'm basing off exactly what he just said.
All we have to judge like what he actually thinks and what he actually what he actually thinks is his artistry. The only time we ever hear this man express himself and what his actual opinions are through his music. He never actually says anything. We don't know if Kendrick is doing anything for his community. We don't know how Kendrick is voting. We don't know what Kendrick thinks. He takes like a very Beyonce approach to his fame.
No, she does. That's a fucking lie. Where was Beyonce at this election?
Oh yeah, she was on the.
Thank you. But she's always no. I want to stay on
it.
Please.
I say Beyonce. Please. Let me finish. I say Beyonce because Beyonce doesn't share anything with us, and Kendrick doesn't share anything with us.
And that's not true.
I'm not talking about political views in general. It's like very calculated.
You're missing the point.
It drips out at the rate that they want us to get it to.
Bigger point.
It drips out at the rate that they want us to get it. But Kendrick is not going on.
Missing the bigger
Kendrick
point.
is not going on IG Live. Beyonce is not going on IG Live. We rarely see them. When we do see them, it's very calculated. And that's what I'm saying.
Again, you're missing.
And I'm glad you let me actually finish before you started.
Because I'm trying to talk to you, and you're missing the point. I cut you off in that point to make a bigger point to what you're not going to address. And the fact is, Beyonce, regardless of what you want to say about her having the #1 spot requires her to have an opinion and to land somewhere on the map. She cannot go without doing that. She is that big. Kendrick Lamar, if he is to be this #1 act, that is going to be required of him, or he will no longer remain in that #1 position. You can't just sit here and discuss all these things and talk about, oh, look at all this. I got a black Uncle Sam, and oh, it's Steven from Django, and oh, there's so much messaging in my art and in my work. And then you don't have an opinion to stand on about who you are. No Name was talking about this years ago because she was not just talking about J. Cole. J. Cole just stepped out. Kendrick was somebody else she was addressing. And it was very clear. So I want to play this video that I saw earlier that kind of
No Name is somebody who specifically stands on all of her business, and she was definitely right about Kendrick and J. Cole. But at the same time, like, I'm still gonna stick to what, like, we don't know what Kendrick's opinions are.
And that's
I
the
feel
problem,
like
though.
Beyonce, like, if I keep sticking to this comparison, she shut the fuck up until she got to a certain point, and I feel like Kendrick is doing this. He's gonna shut the fuck up until he gets to a certain point, and if he's propelled, if Not Like Us takes him to the point where we think it might take him, then he will have to be more vocal. I agree with you, and take bigger stances on politics and things of that nature. Right now, he doesn't. Like early Beyonce.
There is a broader critique of Kendrick Lamar, the artist, and this is something I've maybe talked about a little bit before.
Are you playing me a white man right now?
Kendrick has invested a lot of resources in drawing this narrative through line between himself and Tupac Shakur.
I'm not going to apologize because the light was in there in his face.
Because Kendrick Lamar, the activist, the man, the artist, doesn't seem to have politics that are connected too much outside of himself and his own popularity. And these occasional gestures toward the Black radical tradition. Tupac Shakur, who died at 25 years of age, was the descendant of an organization that went to war with the US government, right? Like a product of the radical tradition that Kendrick Lamar kind of wears every now and then, you know? Kendrick Lamar at 37 years of age is yet to hold a meaningfully dissident opinion or advocate a single position in public that might expose his brand to risk. And I don't think you get to hijack the moral capital of Tupac Shakur's legacy without committing yourself to some of the work and risk, more importantly,
Absolutely.
like I think performing in front of the most inflammatory, polarizing president in modern American history presented him with an interesting opportunity. And like, he did some things that were compelling, but
It was
I
so
would like to see
safe.
him really relish that.
Yeah.
Also, too, if I could just say, like, ultimately, the NFL was comfortable with his gesture towards that radical tradition. Whether they saw it as like harmless or de-radicalized or whatever, what they weren't okay with was the dancer that was seen on the field raising a Sudan and Palestine flag. The dancer that was chased down and arrested by security. That's what risk-taking and
And is
meaningful
being
dissent
held.
looks like.
No, he's
That's
free now.
Tupac Shakur's
Okay.
legacy at work.
Last time I
Not
heard
the
he was being
artist
held with
whose
no
work
charge.
is sanctioned and approved by NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, but the unknown artist using Kendrick Lamar's stage and the American game.
And that's what I wanted to make the bigger point right here in regards to Kendrick not being a revolutionary. For the fact that that individual who brought up that flag for Sudan and Gaza was a performer with the group. He was supposed to be there.
And he decided
did
to
nothing
risk it
wrong.
himself.
No, but the fact is, no, listen to this. Look at the bigger picture. He didn't do anything wrong. He put out a flag and put that out. He's supposed to be there. Didn't do anything wrong. They came out there and saw that immediately and tried to remove him from there.
And they censored it
If
too. We
I'm-
didn't even see it
Well,
on the performance.
The camera wasn't there. And to
Okay.
me, that even shows where he wasn't even trying to make it even that big of a thing, where, because I would have ran in front of Kendrick. When he ran off,
Yeah.
he should sue them because they assaulted him. They had no reason. They don't know if that was part of the show. They don't know what was playing here. He was meant to be there. And they're trying to ban him from all the NFL stadiums. Fuck that. That man was supposed to be there, and he did a stance, and you didn't had no right to take his freedom of speech in that manner. Because again, he wasn't in violation of nothing. That's why they can't charge him with anything. He wasn't trespassing because he was a performer.
So, were you done?
No, you good. You good.
Okay. As far as people saying that there were so many like hidden messages in this and all that, I was a little bit, every time you say that like he's not a revolutionary, I agree with you, and I was like, this man is a rapper. Like, I've said that over and over and over again. He talks about he has specific content that he raps about, which is unlike a lot of rappers, but he's not a revolutionary himself. We haven't seen him step out. We haven't seen him do any of these things. And then I thought the whole performance was really safe. I don't think it was revolutionary at all. I think y'all are grasping for straws if you're trying to say that this was a revolutionary performance. I think it was really safe. I think Sam Jackson being Uncle Sam was super safe. I don't know. I feel like we are trying to project deeper meaning onto this performance than it has. And like I said before, I enjoyed it very much. I love Kendrick. I love Kendrick down. Okay. But this wasn't a revolutionary performance. There are so many things that he could have done, like performing King Kunta too, that would have made it hit a little bit harder. I wish that he would have shed light on what's happening in Sudan, because you're black, this is happening in Africa. Like, this would have been a perfect opportunity to sneak something in and just pay the fine regardless of, and just deal with the consequences. I was really disappointed in the fact that he didn't really do shit for real. Like, he said the revolution would be he teased King Kunta. Like, in the like end, there's like a woman that's like cursing, and he like teased it. It was just, I was like 20% disappointed. But I agree with you. Like, the performance wasn't nowhere near revolutionary. He didn't do anything.
I just want to say that when I listen to TDE folk and stuff talk about, X, Y, and Z, it's so funny how similar it sounds to MAGA folk, where they can have this criticism of this one individual and it be so deep and so like introspective, and you're going into history and things of that nature. But then when the person who's supposed to be the juxtaposition of your, original criticism is engaging in similar actions, you just simply ignore it and act like it's a praise to your own society.
What do you mean
and
specifically?
community.
Just tell me what you mean.
What do you mean specifically? What are we talking about? Talking about the actions that they do?
Yeah.
Being organized to win 5 Grammys in one night. Getting money behind you to push a song that's criticizing an artist, and to a degree where you even go on there and you're not brave enough to call them that on, Fox, but then you do the A minor line or whatever. So you're
Brave enough to
incriminating
call him
them.
a
Pedophile.
PDF?
Yeah.
I don't think he could have.
That says to your, again, who you are and what you're allowed to be.
And then
censored.
I heard that, I don't know how true this is, that he wasn't supposed to say "Hey Drake" at all, but then he had to pay for that.
I doubt
So
that.
I guess he, I don't know, but I guess he chose to say "Hey Drake" instead of the PDF line. But I'm not.
No, but the
surprised
PDF line was cut out originally from Jump. Remember when we played back the release? But I told you in the release they showed it had it on there, where it said "Certified Lover Boy" and then "Certified," and he does a little scream thing. Like, that was already playing. He was never going to say it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I never thought the NFL was going to let him say that on that stage, point blank. Period.
They didn't let MIA say what she said, and she still said it.
What did she say? What was the MIA thing?
She just said something crazy, and I think she put her middle fingers up and said something during her performance, like something about her home.
I wish I
country or
know
something.
what
It was something about her home country or something that she said.
Where's she from?
Sri Lanka, I think, or something like that.
Okay, that's the celebrity lookalike that I've gotten the most out of my entire lifetime. Is people think I look like MIA.
Somebody put that in our Twitter one time. They called Union J. Cole, and they called you Haitian MIA.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so last part about this, we have to talk about Serena Williams. She came at the end of the performance. You see her doing the Crip walk, and
She did a Crip walk at Wimbledon, got in trouble for it. Now she's doing a Crip walk at the Super Bowl, didn't get in trouble for it.
this is the
she's there because she used to fuck Drake.
Yeah, that's the part that's kind of
I don't know. I was like, ooh, petty, love it. But other than that, I didn't think much.
You up there with two of my old work trying to
Who
flex
is
on me?
Oh, SZA.
You up there with two of my old work trying to flex on me? Like what did you like? To me, this is where it's funny.
Should have had Georgia Smith up there too.
No,
that's her name, right?
I think it's something like that.
She lost all that weight. You should have had her up there.
But this is why it's funny though, because again, remember when we talked about the interview that he did with Ebro and them? It's hilarious.
Kendrick, yeah.
He does the interview with Ebro, and then he tries to distance himself from Drake and try to act like it's not about him and the beef and all that other stuff. And then you do this performance where it is clearly 3 songs about the diss. You do Euphoria, Not Like Us, and then people don't know, but that Stars in the Sky song or whatever.
He did Euphoria?
Yeah, it was like a part of it. Was in there, but the Stars in the Sky song, whatever that is, with him and SZA, that's also a Drake diss.
It's mad Drake disses in his discography.
So that's what I'm saying.
Kendrick disses in Drake's
he's obsessed
discography.
with this nigga. He's obsessed with this nigga.
They've both been taking shots at each other for like half a decade now.
He started it,
it don't matter.
but it does. It literally matters if you started with me.
Kendrick was gonna shoot at the top nigga. Like that's just his energy. He has short nigga energy.
Yeah,
my God. This is
See, this is what I don't like about this shit that you be doing. Because you go back to Kendrick talking about, he gonna shoot the top nigga, but you listen to the first 3 years of his career, he out there glazing Drake. So no, he ain't I'm just gonna go for the top nigga. I'm gonna wait for my opportunity. I'm an opportunist, and then I'm gonna take advantage of the top nigga.
And then I'm gonna shoot at the top nigga. That's what I said.
Yeah.
So my favorite thing, I cannot even realize, I can't believe I forgot to talk about this. Kendrick's outfit during the Super Bowl. I was looking at the TV and I was like, I did not realize Kendrick was this thick. Oh my God. The thighs on that man.
Most midgets are thick.
The thighs on that man are crazy. He had the thunder thighs. I was like, Kendrick. And then he had the little Celine bell-bottom jeans on. I seen so many guys on TikTok with bell-bottom jeans on now, trying on their wife's bell-bottom jeans, jokingly. But still, like, oh my God. How did I not? He's mad short. So, of course, he's like thick, because short niggas are always
Most
thick.
midgets are.
Most short people are usually like thicker, so that makes sense. Proportionally, his shape makes sense.
When you're a dwarf, that usually happens to you. So you have those kind of weird proportions.
Yeah, but that's what I just said. Short people usually have weirder proportions.
But we could have finished that. You could have got to that point where we finished talking about Serena. So have you seen the discussion that's been going on?
ADHD.
Stephen A. Smith and everybody who's been going off on her saying that, yo, my wife was never going to be allowed to do that. To go diss her ex of 10 years ago.
Yeah, that was corny.
Everything Serena does is corny, though.
Yeah, I agree.
She's been corny for probably like 15 years now.
She's been corny the whole time we've known her. But that's because she was not allowed to be around people and she was just on the tennis court. So I'm going to just let her rock.
No, she was corny when she was dating LeVar Arrington. Like, she's been that bad.
No, I think that her corniness started from like middle school, elementary school, probably because of the amount of training that she's done.
And
like not having regular social interactions and just training all the time, like probably a little bit awkward, gonna end up reading a little bit corny.
She feels like she learned all her blackness from watching movies.
Yeah.
And then, like, we got to put another thing in context because you kind of glossed over the crip walking thing. She lost her sister to gang violence. Like, gang violence was a direct result to her sister. So for her to, in any way, shape,
was
or
that
form,
after the Wimbledon crip walk?
Yeah, that happened before actually. That
okay,
happened.
so she crip walked. So
sister dies, crip walk.
Why did she crip walk at the Wimbledon then?
Because she is not associating that. She doesn't think what a lot of black people like to do is they disassociate parts of our culture that have violence to them and only glorify it as a symbol of, oh, this is us bettering ourselves or organizing in a particular way. And that's what she did in that moment. And then she did it again. And that's why people look at it like, bro, that's, to me, I understand that sentiment. That is disgusting. If your sister was involved in that, for you to then in any way, shape, or form.
I didn't even know there was another sister. I didn't even need another sister.
Yeah, you didn't watch King Richard?
I did.
You didn't see that he had a whole bunch of family? He even had a whole nother family that he was
I do remember that. Yeah, you only needed the Venus and Serena.
That's not how that worked. He had another family already. He tried
I'm saying
he tried to work it out.
Things worked out the way they were supposed to, and he got the Olympic sisters.
He had kids after that too.
He had the Olympic sisters, and he ain't need nothing else after that. So if he lost a couple, then I don't know. That's God's plan.
Yo, see, that's why I'm so glad I don't believe in that shit, because you can just say the craziest thing about
you
somebody.
You can say that anything is God's plan. Yeah, God's plan.
Oh, now
your boy made that song.
Drake. Now you're trying to call Drake out.
I don't even know how that song goes for real.
So glad I don't believe in that crap, because that is insane.
Girls love Beyonce was where it started and ended.
Let's just God's plan it up. No responsibility or accountability because it's God's plan.
Yeah.
See, that's sickness. So I spoke about Ebro a little bit earlier, and he went on a pretty weird rant.
I couldn't even finish it.
Like I'm gonna just pull out this one little excerpt. It was odd.
I didn't like it.
And from what we actually, talked about with Ebro on our show,
I want white people to stop having opinions on hip hop.
He's not white. He's black and Jewish, like Drake.
He's white, just like Drake.
Drake is not that important. The reason Drake's in this is because he is a sickness in the game. It could have been any artist.
Drake fucked his bitch too.
It's what Drake represents. We've been saying this for months. People love Drake. They love his music. We love his music. He's beloved. He's not willing to go rip his soul from the bottom and do ayahuasca and look himself in the mirror as Kendrick had prescribed to him.
What are you talking about?
What song was that? Euphoria? No.
Seems like it's about Drake, but continue.
No, but it's about what the game does to someone who's trying to dominate it.
Okay, so my thing is this. How can a man who used his position of power and offered up women positions for sex call anybody in the industry a sickness? How do you have the audacity, the gall?
You are literally a sexual predator yourself, and you're calling other people a sickness? Ebro, please shut the fuck up.
Like, that's insane. We have heard women who have spoken out against this. You have called yourself a creep on the radio regarding your past. And then you have the audacity to fix your lips, to call someone this when you have so much smut and dirt around your name. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
I agree with you. Like, when I saw this clip, I was like, this is so pretentious and weird that I can't even continue to listen to this, even though I don't like Drake and I prefer Kendrick. You sound wild. Like, please just stop talking.
Like the people who
I'm tired of men talking.
like the people who offer ayahuasca and tell people, oh, you need to clear yourself. Like, y'all are generally the most toxic, the worst people to be around. Y'all
Ooh, the ego death niggas?
Yes, y'all the most manipulative people.
Y'all be the most egocentric.
Every time.
Y'all, like, your ego did not die. It rebirthed into another, like, colossal problem. And that's all it did. There was no ego death.
It was only more rebirth of your evil.
It was ego multiply.
I just can't. That shit was insane to me. And just Ebro, just out of all people, again, I'm not against folks being critical when they have done wrong themselves. Mm-hmm. But I believe that critical should be corrective in regards to not just bashing somebody to bring them down, but to teach somebody and to learn. And I feel like when you do what he did there, referring to somebody as a sickness, you are not trying to correct or teach. You are just trying to shame from a position that you feel like you're above now, from a moral high ground. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean. Like, guys like Ebro, man, they're just the worst because there is really no constructive change with them. It's just pointing fingers and grandstanding.
I was going to say something and it was going to be a joke, but it's definitely going to be received as anti-Semitic. So I'm just going to not.
That'd probably be for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna not.
We don't need the tiny hats on us.
No. I am gonna say this though. Less whites in hip hop. Less whites. Even if you have white. I don't even want it no more. Honestly, I'm sorry. Y'all ruined it. The interracials ruined it for the rest of the interracials. Because y'all doing a little bit too much for me, specifically.
So we gotta talk about Mona Scott, man. This woman sees talent. She has eyed the next Jocelyn Hernandez. We have talked about this young lady on the show before.
We have.
We've highlighted some of her talents. So I just want to play this little trailer that they have promoting her.
Doing? Yes, it does. Yeah, yes, you have like a cowgirl. Let me ride. Ice cream so good. I was getting 2 million followers on TikTok. I was making 100K a month.
Respect that.
But my views started to go down. So I had to do something new. Hey, yo, I'm about to eat all this lobster like a savage in 30 seconds. Let's get it, baby. For the past few months, I've been doing mukbangs to keep my fans entertained and keep my views up and high.
Yo, a chick who's gonna eat more than like 20 hot dogs.
I can actually do
They
this.
don't. They just cut it up.
Yo, you want to be famous when you do shit like that. Yo, shout out to Pinky Doll. I want to congratulate that. But do we feel like this is moving in a direction that is only going downhill?
Yes.
In regards to this reality.
100%. Because reality TV has been going down.
I mean, but we gotta put things into perspective. We've had
about Montoya last week.
But I'm saying we've had a Cardi B that's come under the Mona Scott umbrella.
That's it.
We've had success in that. Jocelyn has been, regardless of what you want to say, she has been a success in the field. To the fact that a whole company is behind her in regards to Zeus.
Zeus being called a company is a choice that you just made.
I had to make that, but I'm just saying.
Like,
the fact is the fact. They're giving this lady unfiltered checkbook, a blank check to do what she needs to do so that they get the engagement. She pulling up to the club with her titties out.
She gonna do that regardless.
Going wild. 30, she 40 some years old, still with her titties out. That's crazy to me. And then Pinky Doll just seems like she is just cut from the same cloth.
Well, yeah, because she did OnlyFans and everything like that too. She took all of her OnlyFans content down. Did you know that?
I mean, I know where to still get it at though. Just keeping it a bean. I know where to. Hey, you need to just hit me up.
Was it even that good in the first place?
Yeah, she had some moments. She could perform in particular ways. She had some good car scenes.
Because it was the same man.
Yeah, it was the same.
Yeah, that man wasn't.
She had a nice little Christmas special that she had going on.
That man wasn't doing it for the girls.
Little Christmas episode. She was doing her thing. I'm not mad at her. She was putting in work.
That man was not doing it for the girls.
It's just wild to see like
That's all I was saying about that.
no, but it's just crazy to think about 5 years ago, a pinky doll wouldn't even been possible. Like to have actual pornography on the internet that people could watch, and then you transition into a mainstream.
Not transition. The pornography was still being filmed while she was holding popcorn.
But I'm talking about right now. She's
in the flat.
But I'm saying right now she's in the process of turning into what would potentially be a mainstream person. She's gonna be on VH1 now.
Yeah. Who has anybody else done that before?
In regards to, I mean, there's people who's done the
other than like a T.S. Madison.
I mean, like T.S. Madison had a sex tape.
T.S. Yeah,
she was doing.
Yeah.
I don't know. You said it.
Yeah,
she had a sex tape.
No, not a sex tape, but like she was a sex worker.
I didn't know that. That's what I'm asking. But I wouldn't say she's mainstream. You would say T.S. Madison. T.S. Madison.
She is on VH1 regularly on Drag Race. Yes.
Okay. I mean, Drag Race is a show, but
when you talking about mainstream people, you talking about Love and Hip Hop?
I'm talking about in regards to
because we're talking about Love and Hip Hop.
What we've seen these reality shows potentially turn people into. I'm talking about
the reality show we're talking about right now is Love and Hip Hop.
Yes, but we've seen them turn people into household names. Do we think Pinky Doll can be the next one to turn into a mainstream act? Is it because of the adult film stuff?
No, I think it's because her content is lackluster, and then she's just not that interesting.
I disagree. I feel like she is actually very captivating. If we get more into her, I think
what is captivating about her?
I think her personality and the way that she communicates is a way that's. I
think the way she communicates.
I think that is very akin to what Cardi B was doing when she was on Love and Hip Hop.
It's just like it's more closer to Jocelyn the way she communicates.
But I think it's going to catch the way Cardi B did.
English.
I don't think you don't ever listen to the words that I say. I think it's going to catch the way Cardi B did. Cardi B had stuff that she was saying, like when we beef, we're gonna beef forever, like things like that. I think Pinky Doll can connect with people the same way. Why? Why do you feel like that?
Because I don't think Pinky Doll's personality is interesting enough for her to come up with things that we want to say in our regular. Like she has the catchphrase like ice cream so good and stuff like, but we're not gonna say that. Yeah, like she has things that are that we only connect with her. I don't know what word I'm looking for. We have things and phrases that we connect with her specifically, but we don't say them in our regular everyday lives. Like Cardi is actually interesting. Like she was a social media personality before Love and Hip Hop, and
so was Pinky Doll.
We are looking at Pinky Doll like, haha, look at that, that's a freak. We were looking at Cardi B laughing with her, not at her.
Okay, that's a better example.
The difference is we're laughing at Pinky Doll and we were laughing with Cardi B. We could see ourselves hanging out with Cardi B. Don't nobody want to hang out with Pinky Doll?
That's hate.
Don't nobody want to hang out with that weird ass bitch. Like she's weird as fuck.
I think she would be cool to hang out with.
No, I don't think she's weird. I think that she I wanted to say that in Creole for some reason, but she speaks with a heavy tongue. Like I don't like it.
I think that's the part of her charm. Honestly, I think a lot of that is part of her charm.
I don't like it.
I think that's what is catchy. I think it gives that like traditional stereotypical island person, and I think that's what's really going to catch on with her. So we'll see more. I think I'm gonna win this discussion in the long run. With
I genuinely don't think you will. I feel like that's one of the horrible takes that I couldn't listen to. List of horrible takes that you've had.
Nah, shout out to the big Pinky.
And y'all notice I changed.
You always gotta make it about you.
That dress was tight as fuck. I could not breathe.
So you was talking about Drake earlier, and I wanted to highlight some things that's been going on. So have you seen what's been played from his burner, his Finsta? What he's been doing?
All I saw was him like that Kai Cenat tweet.
So I don't from his Finsta, he posted earlier, like it was probably a few days ago, Joe Budden. And it was Joe walking into the Knicks game, putting a cigarette out in his pocket. Like, the weird shit Joe liked to do. Mm-hmm. And he was just kind of making a mockery of him. I think it was to say, like, look at you getting happy and excited that you get to come out, do shit I was doing 20 years ago. And I think that's what he's kind of just
What do you
fun.
mean?
Going to Knicks games,
Has Joe not been going to Knicks games? Is this nigga not from Jersey?
Joe just got money a few years ago, so he hasn't been going to Knicks games, no. And that's what
I I've
what
been
the
to
mockery
multiple
is.
Knicks games, and it was in high school that I went to these Knicks games. I was sitting courtside.
So there's a difference between going. You was not no courtside.
I literally was. You was
touching wood?
I was literally like
You was touching wood?
Spike Lee took pictures with us. Yes, Spike Lee took pictures with us, and I was also courtside during warm up. I was watching fucking Carmelo Anthony when he was with the Knicks for that little short period of time. That was during that time. He was there for a while. I don't give a fuck. But yes, I sat courtside for that game.
Okay,
fuck out of here.
We're gonna have to.
You don't know who I am.
We're gonna have a conversation off the cameras about how this was possible.
This was high school. This was through
That
my
doesn't mean
African American.
That doesn't mean anything.
This was through my African American studies
Okay,
professor.
'cause
She was amazing. Not professor at high school. She was amazing. Shout out Miss Franco.
I was about to
One
say,
of the
'cause
best teachers I've ever had in my entire life.
Tiana Trump told us she was messing with Pacers at 16. So they don't.
Well,
high school
no,
don't mean nothing.
I'm a Haitian girl. I was in the house. They didn't let me outside.
But it didn't stop there in regards to, and I think it was actually far more interesting than his beef with Joe Budden, because even Joe responded on his podcast. I'm not.
It just be so long. I can never get through a whole Joe Budden podcast.
Don't worry, I'll shorten it up for you. He said, I'm not going back and forth with a corpse. It was fun when you was alive, but now you dead. All the yada. When the whole time you've been going back and forth with him, calling him out his name.
Drake can never die. Come on.
That's not here nor there. I said the more interesting thing that Drake posted was a picture of a Caucasian woman. This Caucasian woman is the daughter of Lionel Richie. And not only is she the daughter of Lionel Richie, she is the daughter-in-law of Lucian Grange.
Okay, what'd you say?
So he posted Sophie Grange. She's the daughter-in-law of Lucian Grange. Mm-hmm. Lionel Richie's, I believe it's Lionel Richie, daughter. Let me make sure. That's Lionel. But he posted her on his Finsta page.
Yeah.
And she had the little owl on her face. And not on her face, on her shirt, because she was doing an ad for him or whatever. I think that's kind of more telling to what he's trying to imply there, that he's had access to her.
Well, yeah, probably.
So you don't understand why that's wildly insane and disrespectful?
Because that's his daughter?
Not only that is what it's communicating. If he's saying that he had relations with her, or they have some type of connection that's they're close or intimate in any way, he's saying, not only am I disrespecting you, I'm disrespecting your punk son, and I'm literally attacking your family.
Yeah, that seems like
that's a declaration of war.
Has this whole thing not been a declaration of war this entire time? I'm confused. Has Lucian Grange, like from the outside looking in, does it not look like they have declared war on Drake?
So all of this stuff,
because he wants all of the money.
All of this stuff has been playing out normal, regular. Confused. All this stuff has been playing normal, regular. Hey, I'm just suing you. I'm upset. Yada yada yada. We haven't seen Drake pull out the trump card that he pulls out with everyone who he's beef with, and that is, I'm going to sleep with your woman. So if he's communicating that,
that's what got him in this kerfuffle.
But I'm saying,
in the first place.
But you gotta understand too. If you think about my theory, what I said, how Universal has always protected him from those actions.
He done
now he is now
piped
used
the wrong lady,
or he feels as though I have piped the right one, and I'm showing y'all my dominance.
Well, no, I don't think
even seeps into your own house.
I don't think he has access to any type of power through penetrating, regardless of who he's penetrating.
No, it does.
Through penetration.
No, it does.
I don't know. You might be right. We'll see how it works out. That's very interesting. It's an interesting take. I like that take. We'll see how that take works out.
It's a power play.
Yeah.
Because even if there isn't intimacy going on, the fact that he's saying I'm that close,
that's messy.
Like it could have happened if I wanted it to.
You know I'm a messy bitch that lives for drama.
I'm just trying to tell you how Drake.
I like that take. But I'm not mad at that.
But I think also too, I think he may have also stole it from somebody else who did his play. So Kanye West was going on a crazy, stream of consciousness with his tweets.
Kanye West is done.
He discussed his he discussed his disgust of fat women.
He said he said fat bitches are sexual assault. Like, I think that's what he said, like verbatim. He said that like their existence is assault sexually.
Oh yeah, to look at them, yeah, he did say that.
Yeah.
So he was going on this crazy. He did everything that he normally does, and you know the whole "I love Hitler," "I'm a Nazi," the Jews.
He also said that he sides with Diddy, and then he also said that he was gonna start selling hoodies that were like identical to the hoodie that Cassie was wearing when she got dragged down and beat in that hallway. So
he also was gonna sell Sean John. It's funny how when he was going through his last manic, Diddy was a Fed, and he was discussing Diddy as such. Now that Diddy is a pariah, he wants to align himself with Diddy so that he feels like he's the opposite of what the culture
that's
is
because
doing.
Kanye West does not stand on anything but being a contrarian, and he is a piece of shit.
I do want to say
regardless of the mental health issues.
I do want to also put out here, though, there was one interesting tweet, and this is what kind of aligns with the other topic we were just talking about. He was talking to a George Farmer, and he said, "George Farmer, I didn't fuck your wife." But Jared Kushner, on the other hand, do you know who Jared Kushner's wife is?
Ivanka Trump.
The daughter of the president of the United States.
Okay, if he put dick in the first daughter.
So we have Kanye West.
Love that.
Heavily implying that he had sex with the president's daughter.
Because I'm a messy bitch that lives for drama. I really love that. I do.
Again, a lot of this shit that he was doing was stale. And it's just played out, and I'm kind of really sick and tired of the same old spiel from him. Like, there's nothing of substance that when you do these rants. So that's where it kind of gets boring to me. But for you to say that you slept with the president's daughter, that's insane.
No, yeah, no. Out of all the tweets that he tweeted, that was one of the ones that I got the biggest giggles out of. Now, let's talk about.
Oh, if you stay on Kanye?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's talk about the tweets that were the most disturbing to me. Other than the Cassie one where he said that he was going to be selling that. The swastika shirt, that was right above that. Above that was him saying, "Fuck Virgil." Because what is that about? And then above that, no, that was the Diddy thing. The whole, like, because you have children. So I think that's really fucking weird. And then now, like, Kanye has done this so many times that now I don't think it's a mental health thing. I think that this is really like a rollout. He thinks that he can say these like ridiculous, blasphemous, inflammatory things and just keep getting away with it. And then I've been done with Kanye for a couple years now. You dumbasses have continued to call him Yeezus and all this dumb shit and supported his bullshit for years now, and I feel like you shouldn't have. I was done with him before the anti-Semitic bullshit.
I mean,
but I was done with him before that. So I just now I feel like I think he might have put not the final nail in the coffin. I think this is probably the first nail in the coffin for Kanye West.
No, I doubt that. I think he's going to have his people, and I think it's honestly organized. To me, a lot of the stuff that I feel like he's done of recent has been a sham, and it's a scam and a way for him to manipulate the system. And that's cool with that. And I think the problem with me, and it's more so less to do with him and more to do with myself. I, for some reason, still believe that Kanye at the beginning, who was saying George Bush didn't care about black people, and
oh no, that nigga been gone.
He had those messages, but for me,
he died with his mother.
But that's not even what I believe. I don't even believe that those actions, because a lot of that stuff happened after his mom died already. A lot of those things, those actions, I don't even think they were genuine then either. And
I think those were like publicity stunts.
I think that they are, but unfortunately, and I think that's what makes me feel bad about myself. And this is what I'm talking about. What it makes me feel about me is I still want to believe that it wasn't that. Like, I still want to believe there was genuine altruism in his heart when he said those things.
Yeah, because I feel like we are part of the problem.
No, it's not about that. Because I don't feel like that allows me to enable. Like, I'm really talking about something about me and how, like, I need that just because of how I framed a lot of my life growing up and what that music and what he was saying and his actions meant to me at the time. because it defined a lot of the things that I grew to care about largely. And for me to just realize that and how I framed it at one point in my life to now see it here being this farce, this antic, this rollout, it's troubling because that was inspiration for me and who I am.
It's
now.
something you based
just to see
your
that
beliefs off of.
No, not that based, just to see that act of revolution, to say the thing that is true and evident, even when everybody is scared to say that.
You respected it.
I thought it was genuine.
Yeah.
And now to see that it potentially may be that, and I think I should feel like that, I feel upset with myself that I can't bring myself to say, no, those actions were fake just like the rest of them. But I believe they were. But I can't truly in myself accept it.
Yeah, I understand. And that must be something hard to come to grips with, especially.
No, it's conflicting as fuck.
Yeah, being a Kanye fan and everything like that. Like, I feel for you.
You feel for me? What's sick?
I feel for you. Like, I always thought that Kanye was a show. I never perceived him to be genuine.
But see, when you came here,
I came here in 2000.
But that's that's part of when the wave was really catching for real.
So when he did the George Bush hates black people thing, I had been here. I had already understood hip hop culture. I had already loosely started understanding like racism and inequality and everything in the United States. Like I understood where he was coming from, and I understood why he said that. But from the character Kanye West, even as the immigrant little girl I still didn't fully buy it. I never fully bought Kanye.
I mean, I can feel that.
Never. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm like looking back at it now, I can confidently say that I never fully bought that man. Like, he always seemed like a performance piece to me, if that makes sense.
I was always bought in until I wasn't. I mean, I think that's the best way I could put it.
Yeah. He seems like a performance piece. He seems like a curated character that a art student put together.
I can see that. I just always felt like it was just, at that time, the image that he was projecting allowed for individuals like myself to not have to either fall into this blackness that was anti-black in regards to trying to assimilate and move up the ladder, or this black that was a detriment to society because that was what was being promoted. He gave a healthy middle where I could be on both sides but not hate myself or hate my people for the choice that I'm making. And that's what felt good about it, largely. But it is what it is.
Yeah. What else do we have on the list? Because
so
an hour and a half in now.
Yeah. So I watched that Doge subcommittee meeting.
I didn't. This is always gonna be like the whole Doge thing.
It was like a 2-hour video. It was like a little bit over 2 hours in regards to the meeting. I watched it live on it. Man, the Democrat Party. Granted, there were a few voices in there who were loud and vocal and were trying to, I would say fight back in the way that they're supposed to. The overall people in there, lackluster. They didn't have their stuff in order. They're not convincing in regards to what they're doing. And a lot of them were just, it seemed like they was making things into a joke. And that's what kind of was a little disparaging. It was disparaging a little bit to kind of see. But let me show you one of these guys, right? So he is a Democrat. I believe this man's name, I want to make sure I say it correctly. He is a Democrat with my brother. I understand what you was trying to do, but I don't see this as the win that he thought this was. So I'm gonna just play a little bit from the committee hearing, just so y'all can.
You're welcome. I now recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Garcia.
Well, thank you. Thank you to all of our witnesses for being here. And I want to just start off by making something clear. I think we're all here to fight against the lies, the corruptions, and the attacks on our social safety net. Now, we should in no way be cooperating with House Republicans who want to shut down the Department of Education and destroy Medicare and Medicaid. And we should not stand by as the richest man on the planet gives himself and his companies huge tax cuts while the American people get absolutely nothing. Now, I find it ironic, of course, that our chairwoman, Congresswoman Green, is in charge of running this committee. Now, in the last Congress, Chairwoman Green literally showed a dick pic in our oversight congressional hearing. So I thought I'd bring one as well.
So what he now shows to the committee.
Now, this, of course, we know is President Elon Musk. He's also the world's richest man. He was the biggest political donor in the last election.
So he shows Elon Musk's picture saying, I'm showing y'all a dick pic. So I feel like that's a good win right there, right? Like, I think he's doing exactly what he needs to do to pull that off.
Did the lady actually show a dick pic, or did she also
No,
show
she
a
did.
picture of Elon
This
Musk?
is, that's bleach blonde, bad built.
Butch body,
Yeah.
yeah. Did she showed
Yeah.
a dick?
Yeah, she was trying to show it as evidence, but yeah, it was a dick pic that she showed on the committee floor
Could have blurred it.
that she was doing. So I want to show now. This is Mr. Garcia, his final point, and this is where I feel like when you do stuff like this gives the other side the ammunition that they need to call all of y'all doofuses and idiots, because they don't hold that same consistency for themselves. Mm-hmm. But when you do this,
The committee wants to empower the richest person in the world to hurt people so they can take all of this money that they so-called want to save and then give it to themselves, their companies, and their billionaire friends. That is the attack that is happening in this committee and across this country, and it's important that we call it out. We also know, of course, that Elon Musk is sending his unqualified Doge staff to carry out this agenda across all these agencies. And in some cases, actually teenage staffers. No accountability, no experience, and problematic records. They're trying to rob you, and they're probably a minor. Thank you, and I yield back.
that's the American congressman right there.
Why?
That's what we get. That's the best we can get right there. Like that shit was
He
awful.
was like, "Oh, I listen to hip hop." Yeah, you're fucking pathetic. Just do your job. You don't have to be cool. This is the problem.
No, they're trying to connect and they do it the wrong way.
Like, what do you don't need to connect to me in any other way other than telling me how the fuck you're gonna help my life be easier on a daily basis. And how you're not going to continue taking away my rights. I don't need you to know songs. What the fuck is happening?
And then the fact that they have
Oh my God, I cannot.
no, but then the fact that you have all of these guys up there, these Democrats, these Republicans, who keep using these same buzzwords about waste, abuse, and fraud. And then the examples that they use, check this out. The examples that they keep using, granted, this was about Medicare for the large part of their conversation, but the granted they kept using in regards to, big time scandals and fraud and usage, it wasn't a political person that they identified or a bureaucrat who's funneling money back to their accounts or to their, to the Cayman Islands or anything. You know what they talk about?
What?
PPP loans. They talking about Jew niggas and your PPP loans. And again, they had little stories about, there was some Romanians who were, trying to bring fentanyl in, and so they got tax money. And no, they talking about Jew niggas buying cars and jewelry, doing fraud and waste with the money. They talking about y'all niggas. So again, all of these, that's what's funny about this shit, because the niggas who are the scamming niggas be the Trump niggas too. And as you can see, it was all of them talking about what? Oh, Trump giving us money. Trump about to give us the bag. And who the first people they throw under the bus? You stupid niggas. You PP loan fraud niggas. First person he throws under the bus. So I thought that was pretty funny. They have 4 people up there, all right? Most of them were Doge like clowns. They were just going to say whatever Elon Musk told them to. But there was one dude on there who I respect. His name was like Hetlith or something, Hetler. And he had sunglasses on. So at first, I didn't really know where he stood at. And I'm just like, how bro gonna find, any fraud with some sunglasses on? Apparently he was blind. So, I didn't mean to, be disrespectful in my thought process in regard to that. So I didn't know. I didn't know who the nigga was.
You should have known.
That he was blind?
Yep.
That didn't come to my head that he was blind. So he was actually the only person
That's
out there.
very ableist of you that you didn't assume that he was blind.
I feel like it would be ableist of
You
me
just
to assume
assumed
he
that
was
he
blind.
had sight.
I thought maybe the light or something could be.
ableist.
Yeah, I thought maybe the
You're
light or
an
something in the
asshole.
room was, hurting him, and that's why he had his sunglasses on. That's neither here nor there. He was the only person telling the truth. When they say justice is blind, they wasn't lying. He was the only person out there giving it up. They asked him real questions. He gave them real answers. They asked him about, Trump firing all of the attorney generals. He goes up there again. He's supposed to be on the Doge side. He says, any operation that's talking about getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, to get rid of those people, when that is their job to do that, is counterproductive. So they had people on the Doge side being critical of what they were doing. Literally everybody up there was saying legitimate shit, talking about how we need congressional reform, that anything that change is done under Trump can't stack if a new president comes in and writes it all away, that we need to go through Congress, which everybody in a who know any kind of civics, any kind of like how you would go about congressional law would know that's what you're supposed to do. And when they're trying to highlight the issue that they have with Doge, which is, oh, y'all coming in and have this unelected billionaire go through all of this private information and he has no clearance and nobody gets to checks or balance what y'all are doing. Y'all get to cut off all of this shit. And they keep trying to say, oh, it's fraud, it's waste, it's all this other stuff. When every time when they go back and look at it, it's just them attacking people at the bottom. So there was some Democrats who stood on business, and I appreciate that. So again, Marjorie Taylor, the bleach blonde, bad built, butch body. Her arch nemesis, Jasmine Crockett, she got her shit off.
Waste, fraud, and abuse is, I don't know why you would go to some tech guy. In fact, it was only techies that were sitting there at inauguration. We didn't have auditors. I would welcome auditors to come in and do forensic audits. In fact, he sat there in the Oval Office yesterday and he admitted that he was lying and he was using his propaganda machine to do it when he said that we sent millions of dollars to Gaza for condoms. That was a lie. So let me tell you something.
The
We were
gentlelady's
duly
time
elected,
has expired.
and it is time for
The
us
gentlelady's
to do our
time has
job
expired.
and
You're
rein
right.
in this rogue actor known
The
as
gentlelady's
Elon
time
Musk.
has expired. I now recognize the gentleman from Missouri, Mr. Burleson.
So, like I said, that's Taylor. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Now, this is what she said later on about that little interaction that she had. And this is what I mean, where this lady she shouldn't even have her position. She is a racist. Listen to what she says here.
People that Elon Musk has hired to do these audits literally wrote an AI program to decode the scrolls of Pompeii that no one else was able to do. I'd say he's qualified to do an audit.
Well, that's a little bit above Miss Crockett's intelligence level, so she doesn't really understand that. The reality is Democrats like Miss Crockett, Mr. Garcia,
That's
pitching their
crazy.
temper tantrums.
Like, the stuff that she's able to get away with and that she has gotten away with, it's disgusting.
They should.
She like it was. They were talking about like having decorum and stuff during the committee hearing. For her to be anyone's director, any chairman of any committee, to dictate decorum, she has no right to even say that. It's just it was a sad thing in there, because when you listen to them, they keep just repeating the same talking points, the same idea. Oh, how are you not against abuse and waste and fraud? But again, why are we not looking at the military? I wonder if it's because Elon Musk has contracts there. All right, so life is a labor of love. So let's keep building these moments together. And remember, your job is not your family. And the only thing you should be exploiting is these corporations. Tell them what they need to do.
Follow us on all of the social media at talk.fnf.tv on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And if you're currently on YouTube listening to us right now, give us a like, comment. If you don't disagree, or if you disagree, we love all of the things. And hit a subscribe. Love you. Bye.